When I wrote the book, I felt very broken. But because I'm a happy-go-lucky person, people think they can just do what they want and be like, oh, Chloe will be okay with it. There was so much selfishness within the people I was dealing with. I was a woman or a girl, a black girl, a dark-skinned black girl, a plus-size girl. I felt like I was always targeted for the wrong things. I could just be standing there and someone just says or does something. For me, it was like protective of being a people pleaser because it removed the target from my back a little bit. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are filming a limited pod series that I'm now introducing to my YouTube channel. This will only be available on YouTube, not on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, only YouTube. And it's simply just to introduce you guys of a project I've been working on for a very long time. And it is a book. I never thought in this lifetime I would be an author, but here I am, self-publishing, super duper excited. The book is called It's Not Your Fault, hence the title of the series, It's Not Your Fault. It's called It's Not Your Fault, Reclaiming Yourself from Broken People. And I'm super duper excited, guys. I've lived enough life to talk about this topic. Don't know who's terrorizing me. Ooh, got a Hinge notification. What boy messaged me? I'm joking. No, seriously, I got a Hinge notification. Let's see if it's cute. Reaction. This is a live reaction. He's 31. He's straight. Let's see how tall he is. Damn, he's 5'8". Flip. Gonna have to decline you, mate. You lost me there. At the end of this pod, I'll see how I'm feeling. Let's see if we can give him a chance. Right. Continuing. Cool. So, got a book. It's called It's Not Your Fault. And I wanted to do this pod series about just going through each chapter, why I've written this book, you know, going through things and just seeing where people can relate, you know, and hopefully you guys will get the book. So let's get it done. Let's get it started. When I wrote the book, I felt very broken. I felt very like jigsaw puzzly, and I was kind of fed up of that feeling, and I was ready to like start again. Like, I'm tired of people claiming my energy, claiming my peace. And I was at a point where I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. So even though this is a self-help book, when I was writing it, it was helping me, you know. It wasn't like I was healed and I wanted everyone to hear my story. It was more like, I'm broken too. But I had like an epiphany of, you know what, yeah, it's time to move on. When you look back and think of the situations you've been in, 99% of them, it wasn't your fault. It was just people being people. But let's break this down even further. So I did a hell of a lot of research into the feelings I was feeling. And when I say research, it wasn't like, oh, I looked at this person's book or I listened to that person's story. It was more like, what does this feeling I have mean, and how does it mean to me, and how can I break it down in a book that it's relatable to me and to the reader? That's what I was looking for. So like pain, words like pain, words like love triangles, like phrases like you know, projection and always being strong. And I was just typing those phrases and trying to understand it on a psychological level and see where I can relate to those words and phrases. And that's how this kind of book organically came together. So that was the genesis, the origin story of how the book came about. I faced a lot of hurt, a lot of heartbreak with friends, with relationships. But I must say, like, friends, no, out of the two, I think for me, the friend stuff really affected me like heavily. And a lot of them happened a very long time ago, but it really tainted my judgment of people. It was really, really hard for me just to move on, make new friends, keep the friends I currently have, because I was just scared of people, you know. I feel like people kind of take advantage of my kindness, and just because I'm a happy-go-lucky person, I feel like I got like golden retriever energy. But because I'm a happy-go-lucky person, people think they can just do what they want and be like, oh, Chloe will be okay with it. And I was honestly sick and tired of that feeling. Sick and tired. We're not going to cry on this one. I do feel like a bit emotional just thinking back, but it's the truth, and I know a lot of people is facing it and have faced it, so we're here to talk about it. And obviously another reason why I wrote the book is because I want to help other people. I want to help people who are people pleasers and don't know how to get out of that cycle. I want to help people who are just tired of being in continuing patterns of, you know, being stuck in these types of situations. I want to help the people who find it hard to take accountability of hurting people. You know, why do you feel the need to make people feel bad? You know, put pressure on people. Here is some clarity on how the people that you're hurting feel. This is how we feel. And sometimes it's hard for us to express ourselves, you know. I also wanted to help the people to find the language to use when combating these situations. Sometimes you're just lost for words because you can't verbally express how you feel to that person. This is how you made me feel. And I hope that this book gives you the vocabulary, the language to kind of express yourself to that person, you know. Side story. I was working in one of my studios the other day, and I don't know what was going on, but there was some domestics happening, and I was just listening to it, and I'm just like, first of all, the domestics sounded a lot of DV going on, but outside of that, the passion in their voices of anger, but there was also a lot of language of manipulation in their argument. And I was just thinking, like, why do people continuously remain in situations like this, which is not tangible for them? And I think it has a lot of, like, not tangible, not good for them, sorry. And I believe, honestly, it's a whole pot of feelings when listening to their situation. I'm not going to go into detail, but it was just like, you did this to me, I did this to you, you did that, he say, she say, that type of vibe. And it was sad to hear, because all I heard was a bunch of miscommunication. All I heard was you guys were not compatible in any shape, way, or form, but yet we stay. Why? I think a lot of every situation there's a different nuances to every situation, but I think the most part is selfishness. Even the one who's being affected the most, selfishness in terms of, like, I don't like being alone. I don't want to go out there in a dating world again. It's hard, you know? Because in my head, I'm thinking, why this guy ain't doing Jack Diddley Scott for you? This girl isn't helping you with your life. Why are you there? You know? And it was simply because people are just comfortable in the situation that they're in. And we hear that continuously, when it comes to any type of relationship, even if it's work relationships, any sort of relationships, it's, especially when it gets complicated, it has a lot of selfishness tied to it. And when writing this book, I was going back in my head and analyzing all the stories I've been through, and I'm like, there was so much selfishness within the people I was dealing with. You know, even within myself in certain situations that I probably caused hurt to people. There was one particular situation when I was a lot younger, and I think it was 50-50 balance, but I know that I could have handled it better. You know, to this day, I think about her and I feel like, I hope she's doing okay. Maybe I wasn't the best friend at the time. So it's not just one-sided. I'm not going to sit here and play victim. You did this to me and you did this to me. No, sometimes you have to self-evaluate and think, was I the best person at that time for that person? What do I do? How do I take accountability? What does that look like for me? I digress. Now, that's basically the reason why I wrote the book. And I am nervous to hear what people think about it. But we're going to go into chapter 1 and talk a bit more about what I discussed in chapter 1. So chapter 1 is titled The Weight Was Never Yours. And it's just highlighting the fact that having accountability is always important. So if you have done something wrong to somebody, you should apologize. You should sort that situation out. But outside of the accountability factor and the story, you're on the receiving end of the situation, and you tend to feel like, what has caused this issue? I have caused it, or I need to take it on board. It could be a situation like, it could be anything, but essentially it could be a situation has happened. maybe the person who did you wrong is still spiraling, and you're just like, okay, I'm sorry, let's just finish it here, or I'm sorry for making you angry, or don't worry, forget it, don't worry, we can move on from this situation. And essentially, you know, unconsciously, that's the word, you know consciously that you're not okay with that, but you take it on board of yourself to be the bigger person and try and like diffuse the situation, even though you're not ready to move on. Like, no, this is not your weight to carry. You know, you're not too of anything. You deserve your apology. You deserve to move past things in a way that you feel satisfied in. And if they are projecting on you, if they want to make you the scapegoat, if they are, you know, putting their rhetoric on your head, you are allowed to say no or remove yourself from the situation. So you're just understanding the overall fact of this is not your weight to carry. Because they are angry at the situation, there has been a resolution to the situation, but they're still annoyed about how the situation happened. That's on them. That's not on you. You know, I'm being very generic here, but I believe you guys get the gist of it. It is not your weight to carry. It has nothing to do with you. What is your business? Do you know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of like golden retrievers, people pleasers, you know, we tend to take that on board, think of other people's feelings before our own. And it's such a weird concept. I think it happens through many reasons. I believe the reason why I became a people pleaser is because I always felt like I was chosen last for things. And I'm not here to get emotional about it. It's a fact. It's how I felt. And I don't think it's just how I felt. It is what happened. Do you know what I mean? I mean, if we add all the isms to it, colorism, racism, being on all the phobics, being fat phobic and everything like that, growing up, being a plus size, dark skinned girl and now woman is always a challenge. It's always a challenge. I'm just at the stage now where I don't give a fuck. If you don't like me, keep pushing. If you think I'm ugly, oh yeah, keep going. I generally don't give a shit anymore. But when I was growing up, it really affected me because it's like, I'm a nice person. I really, really am, you know. I'm ready to get on site if you're ready to get on site if you want to start trouble with me, but I'm not an instigator at all, you know. For the most part, I want to find a reasonable resolution to situations. I hardly get myself into situations, and it's just like, it was like a protective mechanism, like, because I was a triple whammy, I was a woman or a girl, a black girl, a dark-skinned black girl, and a plus-size girl. I felt like I was always targeted for the wrong things. I could just be standing there and someone just says or does something. So for me, it was like protective of being a people pleaser because it removed the target from my back a little bit. It's so sad to think of myself like that. And I'm so happy that I'm not like that anymore. Excuse my language, but now you can fuck right off. Get out of it. I don't give a heck. I don't give a heck what you think about me. I'm not rude. I'm still going to be who I am, but I'm not going to allow nonsense to slide. I'm so tired of that. I'm so over it. But when I was younger, and when I say younger, I'm talking about up to like the age of like 25, maybe even 26. Probably like 26, yeah. Like, I'm 28 now, so the only last 2 years I've had this revelation of just changing myself. Like, I don't care. I don't care anymore. Like, leave me alone. So for a large chunk of my life now, this is a new phase I'm in, but for a large chunk of my life, it was a lot of, you know, wanting people to like me. I wouldn't do things that were like crazy for people to like me, but it was more like, hey, I'm not a bad person. I agree with what you say. Don't attack me. It was literally a protective mechanism because I don't have good rebuttal. I'm just a chilled kid. Do you know what I mean? So I don't like being in any sort of conflict. My choice of friends weren't great, and not intentionally either. I always see the good in people. I had friends that were going through a lot of stuff. I'll see them actively be nasty to people. But because I had a good time with them, those 1 or 2 times, I think it's okay. Do you know what I mean? And never think that they'll do the same thing to me, which obviously I was burnt several times. Guys, if you witness anyone having particular patterns with one or two people is going to happen to you, and it's not worth being friends with people like that. Now, when I meet friends, because you're a lot older now, so we have lived life a lot more, and I expect if I'm meeting someone who's within my age group or older as a friend, you should be more sensible with how you place your feelings, how you communicate to people. And if you don't have those skills at the age of 20 or 8 plus, then you're barred from my life. You cannot have access to me. It's just not a thing. It cannot happen. The weight is never yours to carry. It's not. For me, especially in this new social media therapy centric phase that we're in, where it's advocated to be an individualist and you can live this life and you know how everyone's doing. I don't really play into it. I feel like everyone has their own journey in life and everyone should be able to live it, yes. But I also believe that if you have a community of people behind you, you know, your friends, anyone in relation to you that, you know, wants to have you in their life, you should never shut them out either. Because you don't live life alone. A lot of people that you hear are going through depression and having suicidal thoughts. A lot of the patterns I hear from them is that it doesn't matter what you tell them, they don't feel good enough. Do you know what I mean? And when you shut certain people out just because you want to be an individual person and yeah, I'm a solo, I'm riding solo, you know, you don't know what impact you're leaving on them. You know, for me, my heart is very valuable. And the moment you break my trust, I can be cool with you. It's a high and by thing. I will never be rude, but it's just that I cannot trust you with my heart. I cannot trust you with my feelings. It's only recently that I've understood that. And that's another thing. It's never your weight to carry, you know? Just because you guys are in a relationship or just because you are friends, things should just carry on as normal. No. I can't trust you no more. It's done. It's a wrap. Do you get it? We're finished with all that. And there's no hate. It's just we move and that's it. You know, I know a lot of people can relate to this. When you read the book, I made it purposely to sound like we're on FaceTime, like we're just chatting to each other, rather it be like, read the book, I'm going to tell you what to do next. No, I wanted it to sound like me and you are chatting, you know? So hopefully it comes off that way. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave this first episode here because I am so eager to venture off to the other chapters. But I want to put this one out here now so you guys can let me know what you think about the series so far. Go and buy the book. It's on Amazon. You can buy the Kindle book version or the paperback version. The paperback version is £7.89 and the Kindle version is £5 something. I can't remember. I should remember, but link will be in the description below. And I'm super duper excited. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. I promise you. But thank you for watching and stay tuned for episode 2 of It's Not Your Fault.